Let's talk about weight loss. Whether you're wanting to lose a few pounds or you've been trying for a while and just not seeing results, I've got some great tips for you that don't involve dieting or deprivation. Number one, I always recommend eating soup. The more soup you have, and we're talking about one bowl a day, even a couple bowls a day, if you're having this as kind of a lunch on its own or as the start to a meal, it's gonna fill you up and not have as many calories as other foods. Now, of course, the type of soup you're having makes a difference. If you're having like a very creamy, rich soup, that's gonna have a lot more calories. But if you're having soups that are very vegetable rich and have lots of fiber, like a pureed creamy squash soup, or a mixed vegetable soup, or miso soup, more brothier types of soups, those are the kinds of soups that are gonna be really beneficial. And of course, adding things like chopped scallions, foods in the onion family are gonna help to rev up your metabolism, so that's a bonus as well as far as burning calories. But yes, so I always recommend having a bowl of soup a day, or at least a few times a week. So the fact that soup has just more liquid content, it makes you feel fuller faster without eating as many calories. It's also great for digestion. Sometimes with stubborn weight loss, we just have sluggish digestion, and to kind of get our digestive system going, we want to have foods that are very easy to digest, very digestible, and kind of a bonus point on this one is to also chew really well. Even if you're eating soup, it might seem like you can't really chew soup. Believe it or not, if you take your time and slow down and chew your soup and chew even soft foods, it's gonna really help with your digestion, and making your digestion stronger is a great ally in losing those stubborn pounds. Speaking of chewing well, that's my second tip for losing weight, is to chew your food so thoroughly that it actually becomes liquid in your mouth. Now, I'm not just talking about chewing a few times. I'm talking about really taking your time and actually counting your chews. You could even count up to 20 times a mouthful. Some people even get really into it and chew even more times a mouthful, like 30 times a mouthful. So the more you're chewing your food well, it's helping with the point that I just made, where you're gonna digest really well. So that's something that I always recommend. If you're looking to lose weight, it's gonna slow you down, help you to be more present with your food, because sometimes when we're rushing, we just feel hungrier and we just can't feel satiated, and we eat more than we really need to. So just slow down with your meal times. Chewing well is the number one best thing you can do to slow down with your meals to help maintain a healthy weight. My third tip is a beneficial homemade drink that you can make with ingredients that you may have in your refrigerator or pantry right now. Some of them might be new to you, but I'm gonna go through each ingredient so that it's not intimidating and it's totally doable. This is a really great drink for weight loss because it helps to, again, rev up your metabolism, and it actually helps to break down and burn fat. So we're gonna start out with the first ingredient in this drink. It is a macrobiotic remedy. If you've ever heard of macrobiotics, macrobiotics is a way of improving your health through diet and lifestyle changes that helps people to feel better. And there are also medicinal types of drinks that are involved in macrobiotic approaches. So one of these drinks is Carrot Daikon Drink. It was developed by Michio Kushi, who is the founder of the macrobiotic movement here in the US. He actually opened the first health food store here in the US too. So just kind of a fun little tidbit there. So one of the main ingredients is Daikon Radish. You may not have heard of this type of radish. It's spelled D-A-I-K-O-N. Daikon radish, and it's a long white radish. This is only part of one radish that was probably like this long. It really grows deep into the ground, and like other radishes, it helps to metabolize fats. You've probably, if you've been to a Japanese restaurant, if you've ever had tempura, which is like deep fried vegetables or something fried, they often serve it either with a few slices of daikon or daikon pickle or finely grated daikon, because it's well known that having a little bit of radish with something fried helps your liver to digest the fat. Same type of theory, that this will help to break down fat in your body when you combine it with the right ingredients. And just know that this is a powerful drink. Really, you only need to have this drink, 2 weeks or so, and then you can take a break and do it another 2 weeks. And you want to make sure that you're not losing weight too fast. If you are losing weight too fast, you can slow down, you can just stop altogether. You actually don't want to overdo it with this drink because it's so powerfully cleansing. You could demineralize your body if you do it too long or too much. But for a specialized plan, you would want to consult with either a macrobiotic counselor or some other type of nutritionist to really guide you in a plan that works for you. So I'm going to use this daikon radish in combination with these carrots And I've got a special grater here. Now this is something you may need to get at a specialty store or you can order it online, but this is a grater that is meant specifically for grating root vegetables like this. It's really nice. It's a ceramic one and I just love it. But if you don't feel like investing in yet another kitchen tool, you can also use a grater. Just use the fine side of a grater, but just know that you'll get different results. It's not going to be as fine as if you use this. You could also use a microplane zester. That works well too. The other ingredient we're going to use is nori seaweed. You've probably seen this if you have ever eaten at a Japanese restaurant. This is the wrapper that's outside of sushi. So this is just a plain sheet and we're going to use 1/3 of a sheet. We'll also want to have some soy sauce on hand. This is a gluten-free variety, or if you're not doing soy, that's okay. You could also use coconut aminos, or you could even use a little bit of sea salt. We're also using Umeboshi Plums. Now this might be a new ingredient to you. Let me show you what they look like. Not super pretty, but and they're actually not even really a plum. Technically, they are an underripe apricot that gets pickled with lots of salt and with shiso leaves. And it results in one of the most alkalizing foods on the planet. These are amazing for digestion, and it's going to really add a nice alkalinity to this drink, and also the strong, salty sourness of it helps with the whole overall of this, the effect of this drink going deep into your body and reaching those fatty deposits that can be hard to break up. If you can't find Umeboshi plums, that's okay. You can use a little bit of sea salt instead. Okay, so it's time to grate away. We're gonna need 1/3 cup of grated daikon. So I'm gonna start grating this. This is calorie burning in itself, just grating this. Just be careful that if you are using a grater like this, that you don't get your hand or finger too close to the sharp little points here. They are sharper than you'd think. So if you grate too much, no problem. I got kind of carried away with my grating, but I'm just going to save this for the next time when I make it. Be warned, this has quite a strong aroma. Your kitchen is going to smell a little strongly of radish. Okay, moving on to carrots. Now we're going to grate our carrots. Now this is where if you can get a hold of some nice fat carrots, it goes a little easier than these skinny ones. I peeled these carrots just so they're not bitter, but you know, if you want to keep the skins on, just be sure to scrub it really well. There's probably shortcuts here. I know someone who used to put it in a food processor. It's just not going to get as fine that way, but that could work. Or you could chop it up and maybe put it in some type of little, you know, chopper or some little gadget that may get similar result. So feel free to take shortcuts. All right, so you're going to probably need a scissors to cut your piece of nori. So again, I'm taking a whole sheet and I'm just cutting off 1/3. Save the rest for a snack. And then you'll want to take that sheet and just cut it into little pieces. You can rip it or, you know, use a scissors and just cut it into nice small little pieces. We have 1/3 cup of the grated daikon. There's a lot of threes in this recipe. So 1/3 cup of daikon, 1/3 cup of grated carrot, 1 cup of water, and then I've got some soy sauce here. It's, you know, roughly 1/2 of a teaspoon, or you can even just go lighter if you just want to use a few drops of the soy sauce. And then our 1/3 sheet of nori. And over here, we've got our Umeboshi plum, and this is a whole plum. It has a hard pit on the inside. And then we're just going to use 1/3 of the plum. You really don't need a whole plum. And you can use a knife to like cut this up or just sort of, you know, mush it with a spoon when you use it in the recipe. It may not look pretty, but it does great things for you. So now you can see we've got a good simmer going there. In fact, that's simmering even a little strong. I'm going to turn that down so it's simmering on low for just a few minutes covered. So again, you've been warned that your kitchen will smell strongly of this drink, but it's well worth it. Now, you might be asking, how often do I need to drink this drink to see an effect? So you can have this type of drink every day for at least a couple weeks, and then see how you're feeling, see if you're losing some weight, and then you can take a 2-week break, and then you could do another 2 weeks. Now, another way that some macrobiotic counselors recommend having it is having it every day for a month, and then taking the next month and having it every other day, and then stopping. So the idea is that you don't want to do this indefinitely. You don't want to overdo it on any, natural remedy. So this is a powerful one. Don't underestimate the power of radishes and carrots. So it's been a couple minutes, and this is how it's going to look. Your nori's going to soften up. It's going to get, nice and everything's going to get a little bit more incorporated there. So I'm going to shut it off. Actually, before I shut it off, I almost forgot. I'm going to add my soy sauce. So here goes our half a teaspoon, or again, if you're watching your sodium and you just want to add maybe a few drops of soy sauce, or if you don't want to use soy sauce, you can just add a pinch of salt. And this is the kind of thing that you really want to drink while it's hot, or at least pretty warm. You don't want to let it cool down too much. You may find this so filling, rather than having it in between meals, you could actually have it as almost like a meal in itself. But otherwise, you can have it, between breakfast and lunch, or between lunch and dinner. Here's to your health and trying new recipes.